Hi guys, this is Anna and I'm going to do a quick review, my sort of quick summary of my thoughts on A Little Life by Hanya Hinagahara. This was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize in 2015. It has lost the brief history of 7 killings. I've read it a month ago and it's taken me that long to decide whether or not I wanted to record the video. I've asked the people and just tell me whether or not you want me to talk about it, and some said yes, so I am recording this. However, I need to tell you straight away that there will be spoilers and there will be some rant because I'm not in love with this book. I don't hate it, not as much as say Mercedes, because I know Mercedes had a very negative response. She gave it 1 star, but I don't think this is amazing, and most of all I don't think this is great in terms of literary fiction. I think if the subject of the book was different, it would not have been shortlisted. Maybe longlisted, but no more. This is a big book, 720 pages, which in my opinion is unnecessarily long. It's unnecessary. And character development and some actions the author did sort of in the last third of the book, in my opinion, were just completely constructed. They were contrived and they were deliberately done so in order to make us even more emotionally engaged and even more upset. And I don't like to be overly manipulated by the writer in that way. Like, I'd like the author, I'm sorry, it's just so heavy. I like the author to play with me as a reader, but in a good way, not to deliberately make me teary and even more teary, because this was like the only emotion, like the only lever the author had is to make me sad, and it did not make me sad. This book actually made me incredibly angry, to the point when I woke my husband in the middle of the night and I just had to tell him, like, look, this is a slap in the face of the people who actually have suffered some serious abuse as children. So without going too much into detail, but I mean, if you don't know what this book is about by now, you probably live somewhere under the rock. We meet 4 friends while they're in university, and we stay with those friends into the 50s. So we see them maturing into young adults, middle-aged people. And we follow their careers, their breakups, their good points, their bad points, their fallout, they kind of made up again. But throughout those 4, there is a main character we really focus on, named Jude, who had this mysterious, horrible thing which happened to him when he was a young child, which had lasting consequences. And this is where we come to my big problem, because Jude, he has a physical disability caused by something which happened to him in his past. He has emotional scars. He doesn't do anything about it. He does a lot of self-harm. He cuts himself in order to cope with the emotional and physical damage. He is beautiful. He has incredible brain, so he is not only a successful partner in the law firm eventually, but he's also into maths, he's into art, he plays musical instrument really well. So basically he's all-rounded, really smart, with someone who would have super high IQ and be like in the top 0.5% of population, if not less. And he's chosen as the role model and a pioneer to bring the issues of domestic abuse, sexual abuse as children, and mental abuse as children into the public eye. I'm all for talking about this. I'm glad that there is finally a book which talks about homosexual relationship, because it's been a void for a very long time. So I can fully understand why gay people are all for this book. But to me, there are 2 things I really hate. Number 1, everything is black and white. Jude is freaking amazing, and he didn't just have some crap which happened to him. He had a lot of crap which happened to him. And I'm sorry, but in the nature of my job, I had some lectures and I have seen children who have been sexually abused or mentally abused. It can happen once, twice. You can have a horrible couple of years, but not every adult you're going to meet is going to be a sexual predator and a pedophile. I'm sorry. This is not realistic. This is so skewed when you have this amazing child who has not received a school education but ended up in Harvard. Yeah, just saying. So you have this wonderful, amazing child a genius who has received so much abuse, so much abuse that it's not realistic. I mean, talk about skewed character. So I've listened to a couple of interviews, I've read several interviews given by the author, and she said she done it deliberately because she wanted the character to come across stronger. But to me, this is really dishonest compared to the normal people. So if you're a normal victim of abuse, you're not good enough to be mentioned in the book. You have to be so freaking amazing to even get a mention. And it's just really unfair. And then she goes and calls the book A Little Life to say that every life is important. That's the way I read it. I think that's what she wanted to say, is that everyone, even a victim of abuse, deserves to have a book, and every life is not little. So it's supposed to be erroneous in a way, but it's not. Because if a life of a genius will happen to be abused as a little life, so what chance do normal people, normal victims have? None. And this is just so disrespectful towards them. And the second thing which really drove me mad is the way she was really trying to make me emotionally upset. Why? I can emphasize. I don't need to be overly dramatic about it. You can do it in a nicer way, in a more adult way, not in the teenage angst. It's like, oh, you discovered literature and you learned this trick, and I'm just gonna push it and push it and push it and push it. Even to the detriment of my characters. Yeah, that's alright, I'm gonna sacrifice a couple of characters. Bring yet another issue. Do I need to bring an issue of bereavement and loss on top of everything I already have in this book? And I have a lot in this book. I have homosexual relationship, domestic abuse, abuse with pedophilia when you have a child, mental abuse, physical disability, baby boomers, how difficult it is to adopt a child and the trauma the child has because the child has been abandoned. You have a little bit of a discussion on how a friend can become addicted to a serious drug, class A drug, which is kind of hinted, and I got really excited. I was like, yeah, I'm digging this. I'm so glad the author brought it in. But then it's like, he got better. What was the point of spending 50 pages telling me how he was struggling if you're not going to tell me how he got better? It's just, I think the author, even though the book is massive, but I think she over-tried it. Like, she tried too many concepts. Why not just pick a couple, focus on them, and do them well? And do them with respect to normal human beings. So that, yeah, that book did enrage me. I think a lot of things were necessary. They were completely fabricated, complete and utter fiction. And if you take the subject matter out as a literary piece of work, it's not worth the attention it received. So yeah, that's what I feel. I'm not happy with it. I gave it 3 stars at the end because I'm glad that it got society talking about those issues. And maybe for most people you need to have cartoonish characters to actually get them interested and engaged in the public conversation about those topics. But for me personally, as an adult reader, I'm not a teenager, I'm an adult reader, I can deal with things thrown. Can we just have an adult conversation rather than too much drama and tears and shouting and everything being one-sided? The author is not trying to engage with me on any other level rather than my emotions. Maybe she's not capable of it, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know. This is my honest opinion. If you have read this book, I would really like to discuss what you felt. I've watched lots and lots of booktubers and what their opinion was after I've read it. I avoided the whole domain on YouTube and Goodreads before because I wanted to have a good chance of formulating my own opinion. But now that I have, I've been catching up on it. And it seems that my opinion is in sort of minority, but there are some people who genuinely hate this book. And I can totally see why. And I can see why some people love it. So I'm glad it's got written. But I think the editor should have been much more stringent and have a go and made her rewrite it, shorten it, get some subplots out, and I don't know, just be more genuine and more respectful. Be more respectful to actual victims, because to me, this book is a slap in the face. And that's my final verdict. Yeah, Hope that was useful and it wasn't just a rant, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.